Can you hear that now?
You think this is just another day in your life? It's not just another day. It's the one day that is given to you today. It's given to you. It's a gift. It's the only gift that you have right now. And the only appropriate response is gratefulness. If you do nothing else but to cultivate that response to the great gift that this unique day is, if you learn to respond as if it were the first day in your life and the very last day, then you will have spent this day very well. Begin by opening your eyes and be surprised that you have eyes you can open. That incredible array of colors that is constantly offered to us for pure enjoyment. Look at the sky. We so rarely look at the sky. We so rarely note how different it is from moment to moment with clouds coming and going. We just think of the weather, and even of the weather we don't think of all the many nuances of weather. We just think of good weather and bad weather. This day, right now, is unique weather. Maybe a kind that will never exactly in that form come again. The formation of clouds in the sky will never be the same that is right now. Open your eyes, look at that. Look at the faces of people whom you meet. Each one has an incredible story behind their face. A story that you could never fully fathom. Not only their own story, but the story of their ancestors. We all go back so far. And in this present moment, on this day, all the people you meet, all that life from generations and from so many places all over the world, flows together and meets you here like a life-giving water if you only open your heart and drink. Open your heart to the incredible gifts that civilization gives to us. You flip a switch and there's electric light. You turn a faucet and there's warm water and cold water and drinkable water. It's a gift that millions and millions in the world will never experience. So these are just a few of an enormous number of gifts to which we can open your heart. And so I wish you that you will open your heart to all these blessings and let them flow through you. That everyone whom you will meet on this day will be blessed by you. Just by your eyes, by your smile, by your touch, just by your presence. let the gratefulness overflow into blessing all around you. And then it will really be a good day.
So that's a pretty amazing message, and there's so much there that we can take and use for ourselves and for our clients. One of the ones I use quite often is that focus on the fact that today should be seen as the first day, the only day that we're present in, the only day that truly matters. So why am I worried so much about tomorrow and we're focused so much on what happened yesterday? And so we get ourselves into this mindset that this is a day worth living. And when we focus on that, we can start focusing on all the stuff that we have to be grateful for today without so much thinking about what's missing or thinking about how I should be, wish I could go back and change the past or focus on the future. It's a gratitude orientation. And as we practice it more and more and more, oftentimes in our practice, we talk about how we have this mind filter, that everything that comes into our life goes through the filter of our mind. And it's focused on what we have trained ourselves to focus on. If we're so focused on being busy, then of course it goes through that busy filter. And if we're not busy, then we feel like there's something missing. Or we have this filter of fear. And we can see it's quite apparent these days where people focus so much on all that there is to fear in the world that suddenly everything becomes a conspiracy theory or the world's coming to an end. That's a filter. Well, if we can change that filter, and that's really what our practice of coaching and teaching is all about, is shifting the perspective through which people's thoughts go. One of the best filters that we wish we could change so easily is going into that space of everything flowing through that space of gratitude first. It's living a life in which we acknowledge what we receive and what we want to give back in some way. And it's awakening to all that life has to offer, awakening to our life. Now, there are struggles in life, of course, but even in the midst of those struggles, we can find something to be grateful for, usually. And that's where we want to coach to. That's that place we want to lead our clients to. So just ask right there. Generally, the first time I'm sitting with a client, I say, one tool I want you to take home and start practicing. This is your homework, is every morning when you wake up, I want you to think about what there is to be grateful for. Something. There's got to be something. And if that's the way you start your day, then that's setting the foundation from which they can move forward. It's a simple practice. If they really want to dig deeper, maybe they start keeping a gratitude journal in the morning. And first thing in the morning, they write down what there is to be grateful for there. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. But just think about that. What would it be like if every morning you awaken to the realization that today is a precious gift? Because it is a gift. It wasn't promised. We don't know how many of these days we have left. So again, why am I worried about tomorrow when I should be focused on today? Because we have no idea if tomorrow's even going to come. So today may be the only opportunity I have to tell somebody that I love them or I'm grateful for them or I appreciate their presence. Today might be the last day I get an opportunity to see the sunrise or to watch something beautiful happen. It's a shift. It's a shift in focus and a shift in perspective. And that's where we roll back. And I don't teach Buddhism, but this is a true Buddhist practice where when we focus on being present in the day that we're in, then we learn to love and to enjoy and embrace what we have right here, right now, and understand that that is enough to be happy. That right there. There's so much research now going on how gratitude positively impacts our mood, our attitude, our health and well-being. It's being grateful makes us more optimistic. It fills us with a bit more energy. Gratitude allows us to be more resilient. Instead of focusing on all the things that are wrong, we focus on things that are right. Maybe not all the time, but we go with the flow and understand. It allows us to be more peaceful. And instead of spending so much energy focusing on having to have something or needing something to be a certain way, we focus on being more productive by seeing that we're surrounded by so much. With that, we start to feel better about ourselves and our lives as a whole. And who knows if it's true, but perhaps we live longer because we're living from a place of health and happiness rather than a place of darkness and despair. So, with all these benefits of being grateful, cultivating the practice is what we should be teaching and coaching from throughout the day, all the time. And understand that it is nurturing, it is caring for ourselves. So, when we start this practice and we start this guide, we want to move into that space where we learn to love and enjoy, embrace what we have in the here and now, and understand that's all we really need to be happy. Happiness is right there. Happiness. If you sat in the workshop a couple of weeks ago in radical acceptance, that radical acceptance, as the video, one of the videos said, it's coming to accept the fact that there is something that I want in my life, but I don't have to have it in order to find happiness. It's not a catastrophe that I don't have that thing that I used to think about all the time that I thought was going to bring me happiness. Or if I come back and think about all that I have right now, there's happiness there. We can see it replicated over and over and over again throughout the whole world that so many people who have a whole lot less than we do have joy in their life, have love in their life. They move through their life. And it's this happiness factor. It's understanding that when we start to acknowledge that someone or something is there for you, increases your feelings of worthiness. That's that self-worth feeling. There's this social emotion that the more we recognize and connect to the people and things we love, the happier we are. And there's that mind filter. As I just talked about a moment ago, our mind is working like a filter. So we have this information filter that I just talked about a bit, but really, if you see this graphic here, it kind of explains it a little bit more. Our brain filters out what we've told it to consider as unimportant. It lets go of the stuff that we thought is insignificant through this mechanism that's called reticular activating system, RAS. So we tell that our mind what's unimportant by specifying what's important, by focusing on what we find important in our life, and by specifying what's unimportant, by prioritizing things. And what are we doing? We're training the mind. We're training the mind to respond to what's important through our actions and our decisions and our habits, whether they're good or bad, and we're training our mind. The mind is always training, either deliberately or accidentally. And in our practice, we want to focus on training the mind ourselves. So this is what the mind filter is all about. And that's how we come up with people who have these specific mindsets, these people who are always focused on the negative or the people who are always focused on the positive. It's the brain filter. In our practice, that's what we're doing is we're training the mind to be present, to understand that our mind is programmable by focusing on the fact that what we practice grows stronger. What we practice starts to become the focus in our life. And through practice, sometimes it takes a lot of practice, but through practice, suddenly we start shifting the mind, and that's what we want to focus on. So some of the 5 practices that'll shift our mind to gratitude is to start each day with gratitude for the day. Just start it right there. We talked about it a moment ago. Expressing gratitude for our body. We do that through a body scan meditation or just sitting with our breath for a moment and feeling how it fuels our body in certain ways. Pausing throughout the day and reflecting on what we're grateful for in that moment whenever we have an opportunity to. Being grateful for being ourselves. Again, going back to that practice of acceptance, I have to come to this place of accepting who I am. I might not truly love everything about myself, but I should be grateful for being here and the opportunity to continue to grow and change. And practice making gratitude the lens from which we view our whole life. It's shifting that focus, those lenses. It's clearing the mind. So when I started studying gratitude, when I was going back through school to get my degree in psychology, there was this whole program that was, it was months focused on gratitude. And one of the things I really love studying is if you go online and you look on YouTube or anywhere and you type in gratitude videos, um, there are thousands and thousands and thousands of them. And some of these film schools, one of the assignments is to go to create a movie, a short video about what in your life you're grateful for. So I put one of them here because I thought it was it fit really well. So here you go.
What does it mean to be happy? Happiness is the one thing that every human being longs for. It is what we're all looking for. We fantasize about it as if it was a trophy we can only get when we accomplish the end goal. Why do we misunderstand this word and make it our life goal to become happy? And why do we put our energy into anything that might offer us the slightest opportunity just to taste it for a brief moment? Well, I believe that true happiness can never be masked. It is not something that has to be attained or something that needs to be pursued. It is the mere realization of gratitude and deep appreciation for all that we have, all that we are, and all that will become. It is the attitude of gratitude that holds the key to our happiness. Living every moment of our lives being aware of all the blessings, miracles and opportunities already available to us. So let's stop searching for it. Let's cross it off our list of goals and instead allow it to blossom in our lives right now. A little gratitude can cause a ripple effect of the same energy and attract immediate abundance into our lives. I'm grateful for my family for being here for me, being understanding and supportive, and for helping me become the person I am today. I'm grateful for my partner for teaching me what love is, being always by my side and knowing how to make me smile even when I feel like I'm not able to. I'm grateful for my friends for helping me remember who I am, for allowing me to teach and be taught. I'm grateful for myself, for everything that I went through, for all that I've created, for who I am, for forgiving myself for the things I didn't do right, and allowing myself to move on. And you watching this video, thank you for listening to this message and giving me your time. I hope my words help you. And finally, I want to ask, what are you grateful for?
So the practice of gratitude really it does get us into that space of healing, healing the wrongs, healing the hurts, healing the pain, healing and forgiveness. Gratitude gets us into that space where we start aligning with it. It truly is the foundation from which we should build our own practice in our own journey to mindfulness, but also in our practice of coaching and teaching. To come from that place of gratitude helps us to move forward from that positive, peaceful space. Instead of focusing on what's missing, we focus on what we have. Now, it's easy for me to say that, but now there are so many studies that are designated to study gratitude. And some of the studies that really focus on it have found that when we focus on gratitude, we feel better about our lives as a whole. We experience greater levels of happiness and joy. We feel optimistic about the future, actually get sick less often, and exercise more regularly because you start taking care of yourself because you appreciate yourself. Um, have more energy and enthusiasm, determination and focus, because instead of focusing on all the negative, you're focused on the positive. Make greater progress towards achieving important personal goals because you're not so stuck in that space of negativity. When you start focusing on gratitude, it helps you sleep better and you awake feeling more refreshed, feel stronger during trying times, enjoy closer family ties, and we're more likely to help others and offer emotional support. It's the practice. It's the practice of mindfulness. Practicing mindfulness and meditation truly does shift your mind to a place of gratitude because the truth is it's a natural state of being. It's already there. The seeds of gratitude are already within us. We just need to nurture them a little bit more and let them rise up to the surface. And everything listed here on this list can be duplicated and said, what is meditation and mindfulness? What are the benefits? All of them are right there. That's the same list. I could duplicate that if you're, whether I'm focusing on acceptance or mindfulness or equanimity or anything that we're learning. That's what this practice is all about. Getting into that space of focusing. So some of the practices we can bring in to build this level of gratitude, I mentioned it quickly earlier, is keeping a gratitude journal. And whether you keep journals or not, um, it's something that we should put into our toolbox when we're coaching and teaching people about understanding to develop and change the filter in the mind. We need to make the practice strong. And to do that, sometimes writing it down and keeping a journal can be one of the most profound ways to do that. So a gratitude journal can be done in so many different ways, but when we do it, we should focus on challenging ourselves, not to repeat the same thing over and over again, but to think of different things each and every day. The best time to do a gratitude journal, I think, is in the morning. Wake up in the morning, write down what you're grateful for, a couple of things or just one thing, and it's the foundation from which you can move through the day. But then there's another great time to do it is at the end of the day, is think about all the things you're grateful for in the day and make a list. And what is that doing? That's bookending your day with gratitude. You awaken to gratitude, you go to bed with gratitude. And through that practice, suddenly you start paying attention. It sounds so simple, but it is so profound that when you start writing them down, it makes it more tangible. It makes you more aware. It's one thing to let that thought bounce into your mind for a second. Okay, I'm thankful for my spouse. I'm thankful for the sunrise. I'm thankful for the food I eat. But as soon as I turn the mind to something else, what happens? It's just a thought that bounces away. But when I write it down, it's there. And then when I start doing that over and over and over again, it's keeping that list of gratitude. So we can write that gratitude journal about who or what inspired us today, what brought us happiness today, what brings me comfort or what brought me peace today. Those kind of tools are so great. And that's why I think keeping a gratitude journal is something that somebody should do, maybe not all the time, but especially in those times of trouble. One of the greatest tools I use for my clients is getting into that place where they can sit and write a thank you letter to someone. And this thank you letter could be to someone whom they're struggling with, somebody that they're having difficulty with, somebody that they lost, somebody that they miss. Writing that gratitude letter can be so great, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more in a moment. Take a gratitude walk. Now that's a walking meditation, really, is if you're walking slowly and purposefully, and you're mindful of every step that you take, and you're paying attention to all the things that you're seeing that you're grateful for. And there is plenty if you're truly looking, looking deeply and paying attention to what's around you each and every moment. So one of the tools that I really said that I really focus on is this gratitude letter thing. And why don't you watch this video, which is going to talk about it just a little bit more, and then we'll talk about it in just a moment after it's over. I trust everybody's good.
Shut up.
What? Wait, wait.
Always made me so embarrassed.
What makes you happy? Having fun? Hanging out with friends? Delicious food? Making money? Well, consider this. Psychologists have scientifically proven that one of the greatest contributing factors to overall happiness in your life is how much gratitude you show. Yeah? Think about that. Go ahead and marinate on it for a second. You can thank me later if you want. It'll make you feel better, according to this study. You go ahead and click on it and read it if you want. Or you can keep watching, because we read it and we thought it might be fun to test out for ourselves. We gathered a selection of volunteers to act as our subjects. First, we gave them a test. They didn't know what we were looking for, but it gave us a pretty good idea of their current level of happiness. We asked them to close their eyes and think of somebody who was really influential in their life, somebody who did something really amazing or important for them. We had them write down as much as they could about why this person was so important. Now, a lot of them thought at this point the experiment was over, until we really put them on the spot and tried to get them to call that person and read what they wrote about them. Thank you, Jessica. We're going to have you call your mother. So who is that right person for you?
Person is my sister, Erica.
We're going to give Erica a call.
Okay.
Who'd you end up picking?
Friend of mine, Craig Ains.
Her name is Dora.
My college accounting instructor.
Really? Is this somebody you're still in touch with today?
No, I'm assuming that he's passed on.
That's a
to
shame.
the great beyond.
You up for it?
Yes.
What would you say if we called up Dora?
Oh, well, we can try, but she lives in Britain.
In Britain?
Oh, no, number by heart, dude. This is awful.
That's fine. I don't know my mom's number by heart.
If it's true that those who are going on are looking down on us, maybe he read my chicken scratch.
Hey, sweetheart.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
You got a second? Where you at, in the hotel?
I am. I'm in the hotel. You scared me when you asked if I had a second or something's wrong.
No, I'm on like this little TV show, and they told me to talk about the person that influenced me the most, and I picked you, and they're making me call you. They're making me call you.
Oh, wonderful.
Hi, you've reached Craig. I'm not here right now.
At the tone, please record your message.
Oh, come on.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi.
Erica, it's me.
All right, so I got to read you this paragraph. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Go ahead,
All right.
sweetheart.
All right. The person that influenced me the most would be my mother, Marlo Dawson. She is a single mother of 2. She is a very hard worker and dedicated to her family.
Hey, Craig. This is Loie. This is going to be a funny little voicemail, so I hope you enjoy it.
I'm so sorry for calling you at 4 o'clock in the morning.
I have to read this to you, okay? And you can't say anything, or I don't know. You can respond, but I probably will just keep going. Okay?
Is everything okay?
Yes, but I have to read this out loud to you.
The person who has had the biggest impact on my life outside of Jesus Christ, who is responsible for my existence, was my college accounting instructor. He had a joy and enthusiasm for his job like no other teacher I have ever known.
I love her to death, and she keeps me going with positive talk. She is a woman that knows what she wants and won't give up until it is achieved.
Oh, something. I don't know what. I'm about to cry because that's so beautiful. I have to say that's just wonderful.
I first met Craig on an independent feature film set in Whitefish, Montana. I recently have been sending Craig a lot of positive thoughts as he's suffered a series of health problems. Despite his medical problems, he's continued to work and take pleasure in the small things in life, like sitting quietly with his wife, Janine, on the porch.
Erica is my older sister and my best friend. Sometimes it even feels like we are twins. She's my #1 fan and my #1 supporter. She makes me happy because despite all my mistakes and my decisions, she still loves me no matter what.
Your friendship is everything. And you are one of the most important person in my life.
Even when she has a kid and many children, I will love her more than her kids. Okay, maybe not. I will never forget when she flew 3,000 miles at the drop of a phone call to save me from a breakup.
I'm being blessed by having a son like you. I love you.
Bye.
Why did you do that to me?
I don't know, because they made me do it. Thank you for picking up. Bye, sweetie. And then they're like, here, you're gonna write this letter. And then I wrote like this whole long ass letter, which, you know, I like don't write. And then all of a sudden they're like, hey, guess what? Now we're gonna call her and you're gonna read her this letter. And I was like, what the f?
Before we let them go, we gave our subjects one more happiness test. Now, we mixed up and rephrased the questions so they didn't know they were taking the same test twice. For those who took the time to actually write something down but couldn't make the phone call for whatever reason, we saw happiness increase between 2 and 4%. It's good, but not exactly mind-blowing. Now, for those who actually picked up the phone and personally expressed their gratitude, we saw increases between 4 and 19%. So either way, expressing your gratitude will make you a happier person. But you want to know something really interesting? The person who experienced the biggest jump in happiness was the least happy person who walked in the door. What does that mean? That means if you're having a particularly tough time, trying this out will more likely have a greater impact on you. Trust me, I'm in a lab coat. In fact, while you're at it, film it and upload it to us, and we'll do something awesome with it. I'm Julian, and this has been The Science of Happiness.
Pancake, subscribe.
Good stuff. So when you get into that space where you use a gratitude letter practice, in those opportunities where you can work with somebody who maybe is in a sad state or depressed or filled with grief or whatever it is that brings them to you, we can focus them, change their mind, and have them focus on perhaps someone who did something for them, for which they're grateful. And so it could be anybody, a relative, a friend, a teacher, a colleague, and we try to pick someone who's still alive, who could perhaps meet face to face if we chose, or somebody we could call if they chose. And that's what really is important. And sometimes it's really good to focus on somebody that you don't see every day, or somebody that's not always right next to you, even though that doesn't matter. Sometimes the practice could be if the client's sitting across from you and say, why don't you write down 5 people in your life who have, you could say, were most influential to you. And as they're looking at those 5 people, you could say, now ask them, are any of them still with you? Because sometimes they might not be. And whittle it down to one person and then have them write a gratitude letter and say, just write a gratitude letter. And I would never be in a position where I say, now I'm going to make you call that person. But I say, what are you going to do with that? It doesn't matter what you do with it. Just the expression, just sitting there doing it can be the most profound thing you do. But imagine if you take that gratitude and share it with that person by just picking up the phone and calling them, or sending them an email with the letter or whatever it is, and see how that could change that whole mindset, that whole perspective, that whole focus. So it's really a great tool to add to it, to our coaching practice, to our teaching practice. Now, if you were here with me right now and we were doing this class live and in person, I'd be handing out sheets of paper and I'd give you a pen and I'd say, sit down and write a gratitude letter to someone. And I'll give you 10 minutes to do that. So since you're not here, I can't make you do that. Not that I would make you do anything, but I can't tell you to do that. But I would like to see if you would, as wherever you are, just take 10 minutes. I want you to take 10 minutes, find something to write with, something to write on, or do it on your computer or whatever it is, and write a gratitude letter. All right? I'm going to give you 10 minutes from this moment forward to do that. Again, I can't see you and I can't make you do it, but I'm going to ask you to do it. And yeah, so 10 minutes. The clock is ticking.
I wrote mine already, so.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I said I wrote mine already, so I'm just going to wait the 10 minutes with you.
Oh, you cheater.
I read through my material.
No, I'm glad you did. That's fine. All right. Well, then, just be that way. Let me see.
I will.
Okay. Excuse me for a moment. Okay. Um, I don't know. I assume. I assume that's enough time. If not, you can finish it later. Uh, Zoom. It's so crazy. I lose that connection. I can't watch people sitting there crying while they read their letter. I love that. But anyway, here we are.
It gives you a little extra time.
Yeah, right. So, for those who did write the letter, again, I can't see if you did. Think about how that made you feel. To dig deep, it can be emotional. It can be maybe a little bit of stressful, but why would it make you stressful to think about all the things this person did for you or made you grateful for? So that could be a message that says maybe you need some nurturing, maybe you need some healing. But it's truly remarkable as you start shifting your mind to that place of gratitude, how you connect to that deep, profound joy that rests in the heart. It's getting out of your ego and sinking into your heart and aligning yourself with what this is all about, what our practice is all about. So gratitude in and of itself leads us to this place of mindfulness, because mindfulness and gratitude really they're not the same, they're just go hand in hand. It brings us into this space where we start shifting our focus from all that we need to all that we want to all that we have. But it also gives us a shift to the reality of that we are beings of service, that we shouldn't see ourselves as fixers or helpers, but that we are all here on this journey together, um, looking to get through life in our own way. So we should practice being in the service of life, which I truly believe anybody who comes into this practice, whether they're coaching or teaching, whether they're working with individuals or groups, whether they're working with friends or paying clients, we're shifting that focus to be in the service of life. So I'm going to discuss a little bit about what that truly means, because I do believe that every single person in the world is here to really help ease the suffering of others, to help support them, to help guide them. But I just use the word help so many times, and words really do matter. So I've got this document in your binder that's called In the Service of Life, and it's written by a psychologist. Her name's Rachel Remen, and I struggled with this when the first time I read it. Is I consider myself a helper, and I'm not saying this is the right perspective or not, but I think it's interesting to reflect on it. So I want to talk about the differences. So serving is different from helping. We can kind of agree with that, maybe. Helping kind of comes from a place of inequality. Does it? I'm not quite sure. Service is relationship between equals. I'm giving you this, and I don't expect anything in return. So I'm being of service, right? In her perspective, she's talking about helping incurs a debt. I've done this for you, so now in the future, I might reach out to you to give me something back because I did it for you. Remember that time I helped you move? Well, guess what? I'm moving tomorrow, so you better show up and help me move, right? There's that debt. And if you don't, I'm going to be mad. Serving is more like healing because there's nothing expected in return. It's unconditional, or it should be. But when there's help, there's a feeling of satisfaction, right? I'm satisfied because I helped you. But when we serve, there's a feeling of gratitude. Now, as I'm reading down this list, we almost start to think, well, helping's a bad thing. I need to be serving. But no, helping's not a bad thing, so don't think of it from that perspective. Helping is a good thing, but serving is a better thing. So when there's helping, when we're helping, we feel satisfied because there I helped my friend, I helped my family, I helped this person who needed my help. But when I served, I felt grateful for the opportunity to be of service to you. And there's a little bit of a difference. So when we focus on the service of life, we can see we're not here to fix. And if we consider ourselves fixers, then we're coming into this practice from the wrong perspective, because I am not here to fix anyone. I am here to help them, and there I use the word help again. I'm here to serve them. I don't know, I can't use that right in the right perspective as a coach, but I'm not here to fix anybody, I can tell you that. I'm here to help them find that space of healing for themselves, so that is being of service. When we fix, it means something or someone is broken. And I always get back into that space where I would never, ever tell someone they're broken. There might be some things in their life that aren't healthy, that aren't positive, that perhaps they should change, but that doesn't mean that they're not a whole person. That doesn't mean that they're broken. So when we fix someone, we're kind of seeing them as less than. When we fix, we aren't seeing the other person as whole. We see them as someone who requires our attention. And when we serve, we're able to see them as a whole and trust that despite what they're going through, they're still whole people. When we're fixing, there's a separateness. And when we're serving, there's a connectedness. And I believe, as mindful coaches from a place of transformation, we are of service. We're not here to fix. Even if I'm working with somebody with an addiction, I'm not fixing their addiction. I'm helping them change their habits. The addiction is a habit. It's something that they've trained themselves to be in need of, connected to. Sometimes even in a chemical way, sometimes even the addiction to a drug or alcohol is a chemical need, but that doesn't mean that need can't be shifted. So I'm here to be of service to them. In the service of life, we see that we can fix without serving. I can give this person what they need to whatever it is. I can give them money. So I fixed their problem. They couldn't pay rent, so I fixed it. And there's nothing wrong with that. I can help without serving. I can be of help. And like I said, there's a debt. This person owes me now. So that's not really being of service. I can serve without fixing or helping because I'm here to support you. I'm not here to fix you or help you. But fixing and helping truly do come from that place of ego. Now, it depends on how you're defining that word help, of course, but serving, when we're of service, we are coming from that place that's connected to our soul, that comes from that place of love. Our service serves us well. It strengthens us, it renews us, and it sustains us, and it feeds our soul. When we do something good without expecting anything in return, it just feels good. It just feels good to give without needing. It feels good to be there for someone who just needs a shoulder to cry on, who just needs somebody to listen. And it's a practice of love, and it should be a practice of gratefulness. I am grateful for the opportunity to be there for the people who come to me for whatever it is they're seeking, for whatever guidance or whatever place they want to go. So service in and of itself is gratitude itself because it connects us to our purpose, our truth. As I said when I started this whole discussion, I truly believe from the bottom of my heart that each and every person on this planet is here to be of service to each other. We're here to help ease the suffering of each other. So that service connects us to our purpose. Helping, fixing, serving. When we help, we see there's something that this person needs. When we fix, we see that person might be broken or missing something. When we serve, we see that we are connected, and our service supports that wholeness. In service, we come together in unity for the greater good of humanity, of the universe. And there's a difference. All suffering really is like my suffering. Now, my suffering, it might be different, but deep down in my heart, it's so similar. All joy is like my joy. We all feel that joy when we connect to life's abundance. The impulse to serve comes naturally and inevitably from this thinking, from this way of seeing that we are here to help ease the suffering, to help show people that no matter what's going on in the world, they can find some joy, that joy that comes from within, that joy that's not dependent on anything or anyone else. And through that filter, we can see that we can contribute to the greater good with gratitude and joy. And we focus on that in that mindful way. Somebody just started playing some music. It's not me.
Somebody just joined us.
Yeah. Huh. It's great. Anyway, so there we go. So when we focus on that and we see it from that perspective with gratitude and love, we turn our attention to that place where our gratitude liberates an energy within us that immediately expands into the formless substance of the universe, where it's instantly returned to us in kind. That's the whole practice of manifestation. That's the whole practice of focusing on what we have and paying attention to all that there is to be grateful for. And when we do that, all of a sudden we start to see all of life's blessings. That's the secret. That's the power. That's the energy that we're putting out. And we understand that when we focus on gratitude and we focus on being of service, then we fall into that place where we're connected to the power of love. And we see that love liberates us. It doesn't bind us. It doesn't make us have to hold on to the need to have something, to be with somebody, or to want this thing to happen to find joy and happiness. It's liberating. It doesn't bind us to anything. It opens ourselves up and it gives us that freedom to be connected to all that life has to offer us. And that's our practice. It's allowing us to get into that space where we start thinking with our heart, focusing on gratitude, focusing on joy, focusing on love, focus on being. That's what this is about. That's what our practice is. And as you go through this module, if you haven't already, there's a couple interesting articles in there to read. And if you're leading meditations or if you're guiding a class, how many times have you sat in a gratitude meditation? They're pretty profound. They're pretty abundant, because gratitude is such a great thing to focus on when we're trying to practice being present. So, gratitude. There's so much to talk about, but of course, in our study, each and every week, aren't we kind of studying this in all of our practices? We're focusing on being present, and by being present, I'm focusing on all that I have, on the abundance. That's what it's all about. So, here we go. I'm grateful for you sitting with me this day. I wish we could have done it in person, because I'm so much more grateful when I can feel the energy right around me. But I can be grateful for the hour that we just shared together.
I'm grateful it took place and wasn't canceled.
Yeah, right. Yay. Yay. So in the week ahead, just keep this lesson in mind. And, if you did write that gratitude letter, think about what you're going to do with it. If you're thinking about, and you haven't pulled the trigger on keeping a gratitude journal or journaling of any way, maybe challenge yourself and say, this might be the week to start that. And do a simple gratitude. One of the other tools that I love to use, especially with young adults or kids, is, I don't know if you've ever done it, but I'll tell you what it is. It's keeping gratitude lists, right? So what I say is, every day when you wake up, you take a little piece of paper and you write down something you're grateful for. Something pretty great, challenge yourself to look beyond, oh, I'm grateful for what's right in front of me, just thinking about it. So write it down on a piece of paper. Then you take that piece of paper, fold it up, and you put it in your pocket or your pocketbook. And as you go through the day, every now and then you pause and take it out and you remember that thing you're grateful for. And you just keep focusing on that. Or if you get stuck in that place where I've become impatient, or this person's pushing my buttons, like, wait, I got this piece of paper, and you pull it out. Remember, I'm grateful for this. And then at the end of the day, right before you go to bed, you read that again. This is what I've been grateful for today. Then you fold it up, and I say, put it in something, put it in a bag or a box or in your drawer, and leave it there. And do the same thing the next day, and then the next day, and the next day. And do it for 30 days. And if you can do it for 30 days, at the end of that 30 days, pull all those little pieces of paper out of your drawer or your box and line them up on a table, and then start reading them. Start reading them. You should have 30 of them, and maybe you missed a couple of them, but that's okay. So as you're doing that, guess what you're doing? You're counting your blessings. It's so simple. It's a great tool to, as a coach, if you have like a blog or you have something that you share with in November. What better time to do it but around Thanksgiving? November 1st, you'll probably see it. I'm going to do it this year, so I'm giving you a warning. November 1st, I'm going to send you an email, say, hey, why don't you do this practice for the month of November? And then on Thanksgiving Day, pull out all your little pieces of paper and read them. There you go. Because when you start thinking about Thanksgiving, generally we focus that day on what we're thankful for that day. And okay, yeah, but what about every other day? Yes, it's great to have that day to dedicate to being grateful, but we should focus on it every day. So that's a great little tool that we can use in different ways, and there are different versions of that, but it's so simple. It's such a great tool for us to use with our clients that I encourage you to come up with something like that or use that one. It's great. I don't know where I learned it. I probably learned it when I was a kid. I don't know, but That's what it's all about. Actually, I do remember one of my aunts did it, and she did it November 1st. She sent it to everybody in the family and said, bring all your little pieces of paper on Thanksgiving Day, and we'll line them up and we'll read our grateful list, right? So it's kind of cool. So there you go. That's the last thing I'm going to share with you on gratitude right now. I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for this time. Any questions? Probably not.
You said that it wasn't, you didn't like the word helping. Can you say assist?
Yeah,
Can we say
you could.
assist them?
No, I don't mind. I like the word helping, and in fact, I'm trying to not use it as much. I a lot of times when I'm talking with somebody that I'm here to help you, I say that all the time, and I'm trying to get it out of my vocabulary because, but then wouldn't it
I'm
sound?
noticing it's a 50-50. Some people are like, well, I don't want help. It's like more of an assistance, or
Yeah.
some people are like, so I just was curious if assist would work.
Yeah. Oh, sure it would. And that's why I said when I read this the first time, yeah, I struggled with it because I kind of feel like and there's nothing wrong with helping. Again, being
Not at
helping
all.
or if somebody truly does need you to fix something for them, then be there to fix it for them, right?
Yeah.
Call somebody up and say, hey, I can't change my light bulb. Come fix it.
Yeah.
So there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, but I think there's a whole difference when we start being of service. I'm a being of service. I'm not here to fix you or help you. I'm here to serve with you. And serve you can also come into a negative space because,
They can take advantage.
Exactly, right? I'm not your slave. So it's all about that, getting into that space of opening yourself up, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Hello.
Thank you.
Just a quick question. So to clarify, because since helping comes from an ego perspective, so helping would be more like doing things for the other. Like if you want to help a person in their personal journey, you would just do things for them instead of like being there. Is that like the difference?
Yeah. Being there for somebody, you mean?
Yeah, like because I wasn't sure if I got like the difference between helping and being of service. So from what I understand, so helping would be more like an active, like I want to fix things for you.
Right.
And being in service, as you said, would be more like sitting there, putting your presence for the other person. Okay.
I think
Thank
so.
you. Just wanted to clarify because I wasn't sure if I got it. Because I like the idea of helping too.
Yeah, there's nothing, like I said, there's nothing wrong with helping. I think it's a great thing. I'm here to help. I'm here to help. I always say I'm here to help, right? But if we, as coaches, if we take that perspective that I'm here to be of service to you. I'm here to hold space for you. I'm here to listen. I'm here to serve you with some wisdom, whatever it is you choose to do. That's being of service. So again, like I said, I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with helping or fixing. I think, but if we truly are focused on who we are and what we're about, we are beings of service. Yes, we're helpers. I don't know, what's that quote that Mr. Rogers says, when anything wrong goes on in the world, look for the helpers, right? Look at the helpers because they're the ones that are there. And so that's a great thing, I mean, you see that, but that's what we do. Yeah. It's just an interesting perspective to think about. And I'd never say don't use that word help. I use it all the time, right? It's like
if you don't get help, you don't learn.
Exactly.
It's a beautiful thing.
And we should be able to be comfortable to reach out for help when we need it, right? As coaches, we should be able to say, yeah.
We should also learn who to ask for help as well.
Well, yeah, sometimes we look in the wrong place.
That's another lesson on its own.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah, that comes from that practice of discernment, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
that's where the taking advantage comes in.
Yeah, right. So, good stuff. All right, there you go. So, it's August 1st. Can you believe that? We're in the 8th month of the year already.
I know.
Here we are. In the weeks ahead, I appreciate everybody's patience with me on canceling some stuff this week. I know I appreciate everybody's love and support and good energy. Just my mom's doing better, surprisingly. I'll tell you, on Tuesday, I thought everybody thought that was going to be it. And then she's bounced back. She actually did some physical therapy yesterday, and they're thinking about sending her home for a few days just because they know being home is much more. The problem with being in a hospital now is that you can't have visitors. And so she hasn't seen anybody in 20 days other than the nurses and the doctor. So I know
It's
there's
got to
that
be
sense
hard.
of, yeah. So anyway, so I appreciate everybody's understanding with that. What happened on Tuesday is I had a client that morning, and I got that call from my sister in the morning, and I tried to sit across from this client trying to be there for them, and I
Oh,
wasn't being of service because I was in the wrong space. And I said, I can't do this. I need to cancel the next couple of days just to
of
take care of
course.
myself because I don't want to ever show up not fully present. So
That,
that's why I did that this
that's
week.
the key thing, being present.
Yeah, and then being mindful of that, right? Okay, here's somebody coming
Got
to
to
me.
lead by example.
Yeah, coming to me
Good.
for some service, and I can't do it. As I'm
But
sitting there
that's okay.
listening.
You showed also that, you're human too, and you dealt with this. You taught that person to deal with the situation on its own in case
Exactly.
they ever come across it.
Yeah, so there we are. So here we are. So in the week ahead, I know we might all be a little bit behind, but I'll help you catch up this week, and then we'll be right back on track with whatever we're at. All right. I'm going to
Good.
leave you with that, and I hope you have a beautiful weekend, and I'm grateful for you showing up.
Grateful for you too.
See you next time.
Fine.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you so
Bye.
much.
You're welcome.
Blessing to you and family.
Thank
Blessing
you.
to your mom.
I appreciate you.
Thank
Back
you.
at you.